Can't quit my job if I'm taking the uniform home? Guess I'm leaving naked. Just saw a similar story that reminded me of how I quit one of my first jobs. So back when I was a teenager, around 14 years old, I worked for the shop down the road as their weekend baker, mainly defrosting pre-cooked items or browning pre-cooked bread in the ovens. My boss's daughter also worked there as a checkout staff. However, she would just call in sick, being hungover every weekend, so her dad would let her off the hook and make me cover her shift so that I would work 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. most weekends. After a couple of years, I quit and gave them my 2 weeks' notice. My boss asked me to stay an extra week to train the new weekend baker, which I agreed to. I entered my boss's office at the end of the 3rd week. I did the usual "well, it's been excellent working with you," to which he replied, "So, the extra week you worked to train the new baker means you have been here 2 years, which means according to policy, you need to work 4 weeks' notice instead, so I'll see you next week. Also, you need to give us back your uniform on your last shift, and it needs to be freshly cleaned." Being a petulant teenager tired of waking up at 4 a.m., I stared at him in disbelief for a couple of seconds, waiting for the shit-eating grin on his face to laugh and say, "Just kidding, have a good one." That moment didn't come. So I walked out of the office, stripped down to my boxers, folded up my baker's whites, trousers, and even the little mesh fedora on top, walked into his office again, dropped the uniform on his desk, and walked home. Thinking back, that must have been strange for customers to see.